Well, I'm going to do something this week that I haven't done in a while. And yes, that's a Smackdown review. Yes. Why am I doing a Smackdown review? Oh, number one, because I can, and number two, it's my channel. And, hey, because I kind of feel like it once in a while, you know? So, we kick off the show with Ms. TV, once again. Well, you talk about things that are good for business, and especially what God's been talking about the last couple weeks, but is The Miz as a babyface good for business? Can you name anybody in the IWC that really thinks so? But anyway, you got Big Show and you got Ziggler out there, and he just asked him why they didn't help Daniel Bryan out after he got beat down on Monday Night Raw, and well, they kind of hem and haw about it, but you know what? I could see why Ziggler wouldn't help him, only because he couldn't, because he would have gotten fired. But Big Show is another thing. What about that ironclad contract that he had? I mean, Big Show was even talking about it. Is that gone by the wayside now? I'm just saying here. Plot holes be damned, I guess, but then you got God coming out there, and you can never let it be said that he isn't a benevolent God because he's given opportunities. Number one, later on we get to see a 3-on-1 handicap match with Dolph Ziggler against the Shield. Yeah, that's an opportunity. He's got the opportunity to show off, and you're going to see The Miz taking on the face of the WWE, one Randall Keith Orton. And what Big Show gets to do is sit at ringside and do absolutely nothing. This was a really good segment, I thought. Only thing bad about it was, hey, it didn't go no 20 minutes. You know what? When I go to Monday Night Raw with Mikey on Monday night, I damn sure better see at least a 20-minute promo from God. If it's not at least 20 minutes, I'm going to be very disappointed. Alright, so then it leads into your first match of the night, which is the face of the WWE, one Randall Keith Orton, against The Miz. Well, you get the Shield that they come down about midway through the match out of the crowd. And they don't, they're just kind of there, you know, but this actually wasn't too bad of a match. Hey, the Miz got a few shots in there. He actually got the figure 4 on Orton there for a bit, so he kind of planted maybe a little seed of doubt that he could actually win, but nah, that didn't happen because Orton won with the RKO. But then afterwards, the beatdown commences, and what do you know? Daniel Bryan comes down with a steel chair and cleans house. So you can guess what happens after that. Alright, then, you got RVD against Damian Sandow, your Money in the Bank winner. Not much to talk about here. RVD wins, and once again, the Money in the Bank winner jobs. So, kind of status quo there. And then you had ADR coming out there after the match, cutting a little promo about their World Championship match at Night of Maddox, and hey, it was just kind of there, you know. Well, then your 1 hour main event was the handicap match between the Shield and Ziggler. Hey, this is God's form of justice. I mean, you can kind of figure, you can draw your own conclusions as to what happened here. Ziggler did get a couple shots in, but he got taken out with a spear and a triple powerbomb. So it's pretty much what you would expect for taking the Lord's name in vain, or God's name in vain. Alright, since I didn't talk about the CM Punk and Paul Heyman segment on Raw on Monday night, I'm going to talk about it here. This is part of the Raw Rebound segment. But this really is shaping up to be the feud of the year in WWE, I think. Because, I mean, with Heyman and Punk, you're getting this back and forth every week, and it's been pretty awesome, to say the least. but it's but when he just waylaid him with that kendo stick on Monday night, and he refers to him as his prodigal son, it's like, it's kind of like that old saying, "This is going to hurt me more than hurt you." And I think this is kind of how I'm looking at this, because you can kind of tell, like, after he did it, that he didn't want to do it, but he kind of felt like he had to. And with Punk all handcuffed like Aaron Hernandez and that, and it's just, I mean, this has just been great all around, and it's one of the matches I'm really looking forward to at Night of Maddox, and that's that handicap tag team match elimination with him and Curtis Axel against Punk. So I think it's shaping up to be very good, and if Heyman tries to run, he will be fired. Okay, a match we've seen before, and basically it's the same ending. Wyatt family squashes tons of Funk. That is all. Then they also replayed this AJ Lee pipe bombshell, I guess if you will, on Monday night. I didn't talk about this either. This was one of the better promos I've heard from a diva in recent memory. I mean, it was of course it was a work shoot, but AJ did say she said a lot of truthful things in this. And as far as, I mean, say what you want about AJ being a heel and all this, but because she shouldn't be a heel, or at least not your top heel. The top heels on the diva side should be the Bella Twins, the Bella Sluts, or whatever the hell you want to call them. But as far as that promo goes, I thought it was pretty much spot on, and I would love to see her take on one of the Bella Sluts at Night of Maddox, but more than likely she'll take on Natalya, because it seemed like Natalya was the one that was burned the most by this promo. Alright, then your main event, which was made earlier in the night by Vicky Guerrero, because Vicky Guerrero seems to think that Daniel Bryan's the bully, so she put him up against the top bully on the show, or in WWE, and that's one Ryback. Oh, man. What this ended up being is a DQ finish after Orton and the Shield interfere, and Big Show was still sitting at ringside, and he couldn't do a thing, but he ended up climbing into the ring and making like he was gonna do something, but then God comes out there to keep law and order, and he ends up walking Big Show to the back, and then after he's in the back, God nods his head, and what do you know, Daniel Bryan gets taken out with the triple power bomb. And then it kind of had a reminiscence of kind of like the old NWO, because Daniel Bryan had no spray painted on his belly. So that is the end of the show, and I will tell you about my final thoughts. As far as my final thoughts go, what they're doing at Daniel Bryan is a thing of beauty. This is something that they weren't doing with Cena for the last 8 years. Trying to make him overcome obstacles. Well, but then again, to be fair, John Cena is a member of the Breakfast Club, so he doesn't really have to overcome obstacles now, does he? But since Daniel Bryan is not a member of the Breakfast Club, this is making him look stronger and stronger. Regardless of what the IWC thinks, they want to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted Randy Orton as a heel. They got it. They got God as a heel now, and then the Shield's relevant again, because they were kind of leaning towards irrelevancy there for a little while. But now as God's henchmen, if you will, hey, they have a purpose again. That's nice. That's great. And the number one role of your top babyface is giving him obstacles to overcome, and that's exactly what you're doing with Daniel Bryan. I mean, just putting him in a storyline with the McMahons and Goddess, I mean, that's only making him stronger. That is exactly what you need to do. That's probably should have won what they were doing with Cena for the last 8 years, but like I said, he is a member of the Breakfast Club, so. And I am really looking forward to Night of Maddox, just to see the rematch between Daniel Bryan and Randall Keith Orton. And God be praised.